The Premier League is too competitive to a point where it isn't competitive at all. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Imagine you're a championship club, you win promotion, the fans are in ecstasy, you're in the Premier League. A global spotlight, packed stadiums, massive match days, but then you lose 4-0, 3-1, 5-1, and before you know it, you're bottom in November. Burnley, Luton, Sheffield United, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton, all promoted, all failed to stay up in the last 2 years. And while they crashed out, giants like Spurs and Man United were also barely surviving. So what's going on? Has the Premier League become too competitive? This is the brutal truth about the league no one can crack anymore, and how the Big Six you thought you knew is now actually the Big 17. Football has changed, and not just the tactics or formations, the structures of the modern game, its finances, analytics and business models has completely transformed. In 2005, most Premier League teams were still sort of locally run. Now, they're owned by billionaires, venture capitalists, sovereign wealth funds, or backed by entire nations. And they run clubs like elite companies. Data, logistics, profit margins, every inch of football is monetized. It's no longer enough to be a good football team. You need a footballing operation, one that knows how to handle global recruitment, FFP, player resale value, and any sort of marginal gains you can through nutrition, sleep tracking, and AI-driven training models. If you're a championship club trying to break in, you're running up a digital, financial, and strategic mountain. People still talk about the Big Six like it means something. In reality, it's kind of gone. That old club of Elite Six teams is now just kind of a memory. We're now in an era of the Big 17. That's right. 17 clubs in the Premier League today have more resources to challenge for mid-table or better. The margins are razor thin, just one or two bad signings and a poor managerial appointment and your team could fall down the table in a matter of weeks. And the same vice versa. Just this past season, 9 teams qualified for European football. That's almost half of the league. Brighton, Brentford, Villa, Newcastle, they've all cracked the code. They've built elite squads without huge net spends because they've built elite infrastructures or been backed by Saudi Arabia. But regardless, they have to spend well in order to climb to the top. But why are the promoted teams failing? What is it about the leap from Championship to the Premier League that's now just unmanageable? Even with parachute payments, promoted clubs can't compete with the spending power of the established clubs. A newly promoted side might be able to spend 50 million in total. For context, Wolves just finished 16th and sold Cunha to the team one place above them, albeit that team was Man United, for £62 million. The levels in quality are pretty stark between the Championship and Premier League these days. You know, when you come up as a newly promoted team, you have a small number of players that can actually cut it. And if you get one big injury to one of those players, well, just say it's not ideal. As well as this, many promoted teams win the Championship by playing brave, attacking, fluid football. But the Premier League just punishes mistakes. You can't do that. You lose the ball in midfield and it's in your net 10 seconds later. You're not coming up from the Championship with the ability of Manchester City. Let's take a look at what's happened recently. Burnley. Under Company, they played dominant, progressive football. But they tried to keep that style in the Premier League without the personnel to back it up. And the result? They got exposed over and over. And then Company managed to fall upwards to Bayern Munich. But if anything, that shows the level and even more. You can get relegated from the Premier League and then land a managerial job at Bayern Munich. Luton, a beautiful rise, great narrative, but the infrastructure simply wasn't ready. A couple nice signings gave some hope with the likes of a Ross Barkley resurgence, but it wasn't really ever looking likely that they would stay up. Ipswich, back-to-back promotions, a fairy tale, a promising manager, but that was really about it. Most players had never faced the top flight pressure, and it showed despite spending over 150 million. And then there's Leicester and Southampton. Even the teams that had Premier League in the recent years couldn't rebuild fast enough. Leicester had a couple decent players, but time wasted under Steve Cooper and then a pretty failed appointment in Ruud van Nistelrooy put the nail in the coffin. And, well, the less said about Southampton, the better. So, what about next season? Can anyone break the cycle? And my answer, in short, is no. Personally, I don't see enough quality anywhere in Sunderland, Leeds, or Burnley to see them stay up. And we could be heading for a third consecutive season of every promoted team going straight back down. The unfortunate truth is all 3 teams will be fighting for survival from day one, and it could easily be all but over by Christmas. If the promoted teams are set up to fail, then the system needs to evolve. Without change, we're heading towards a closed shop. where 17 clubs recycle positions and promotion becomes a revolving door of false hope. The Premier League is beautiful, it's the most watched league in the world for a reason, but beneath that beauty is brutality. It's a fortress now, and to break into it takes more than passion. It takes a decade-long plan, a business-savvy model, and a bit of magic. Promoted teams just aren't underdogs anymore. They're lambs to the slaughter unless they evolve quickly. But that's just easier said than done. I mean, you've got your random ones that have managed to do it over time, like Brighton's, your Brentford's, but that's not a sustainable model. Like, you can't just go, oh, we're going to do that. We're just going to copy it. You can't copy that. And so with that, thanks for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video and comment below, who do you think could stay up next season? And don't forget to subscribe, because as you can see, this is a very new channel and it massively helps me to know that you would like to see more of these videos in the future.